start of a video. It is taking you far too long. Listen, does your filmmaking journey feel stuck and feel like it's not going nowhere or you're not making progress? We're going to talk about momentum. Yeah, and not the scientific version. Although science does play a part, of course. But we're going to talk about how it pertains to us in our creative endeavors. So stick around. I'm going to give you 3 tips. That's right, a set of numbers. 3 tips on how you can break through and restart your journey. Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Duane Valentino and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about momentum and in a sense how it pertains to creative momentum. I don't think this subject gets spoken about really in the depth, so we're going to explore it a little bit. Let's get into it. If a process gains momentum and happens more quickly over time, it's less likely to stop. And by process we mean movement, momentum. Momentum which propels you in your creative endeavors. Momentum is kind of intrinsic to success, really. It's certainly intrinsic to building upon the things you really want. And in this case, we're talking about filmmaking. Tip number 1, commitment, or to commit. Part of what, our creative endeavors bring is sometimes we get down on our luck or projects aren't going the way we want. And in these moments, the most important point about creating a sense of creative momentum is to commit to that. Commit to the idea that you keep going. You start to build a sense of the ball rolling down the snowy hill, building into a big snowball. So commit to the idea that you're going to start something and you're going to finish it, and then you're going to start something else afterwards and finish it. Commitment is a promise to yourself, a promise that you're going to continue. Keeping in mind that sometimes I know it's sometimes we have waves of this commitment, but right now we're talking about how to gain the momentum back again, how to feel like you're continuing to improve. Tip number 2 will be to schedule your time. It's always funny that we kind of have like a way in which we can be distracted, right? Like we're always able to watch a new show, go out and take a longer time than usual, knowing that we got something to do, or knowing at least that we should be doing something. Putting aside time in which you want to try and do something. Like for me right now, it's this video. For you, it might be a little project that you had percolating in your head. So now's the time. If you've got a 7-day week, take the week and look at what days you can actually commit to doing something and how many hours in that day, because that might be important. You might have 2 to 3 hours for 3 days of the week. Okay, great. That's your commitment. Taking the tip number 1, you commit, and tip number 2, you schedule that time. You put it down. You put it somewhere relevant, somewhere you can do it. Now, in scheduling your time, I don't think you should schedule too far ahead. This is an important point because sometimes we schedule too far ahead, or we think we can schedule quite far ahead and we think, yeah, I know we're going to be able to look at 6 months ahead. Now, if that works for you, great. But sometimes in order to get the needle moving, in order to make a start, the best thing is probably to look at scheduling your time over a month first, right? Because that, as you'll find out, will start to build your momentum. Tip number 3, real simple. Keep working. I mean, when you've committed to doing something and you've scheduled some time for it, the most important point is to keep working. Using that scientific understanding that momentum is created when you start. Firstly, you schedule your time, you commit to it, you commit to the process, and you keep working. Tell yourself you are going to finish what you start, and then look for something else. It's kind of amazing, because what starts to happen, and this is something I can attest to, and I don't know, you tell me if this is anything you've found. You will start a project, it will be going good, you will have the enthusiasm for it, and then it will start to slow down. Okay, that's fine, no problems there. But then you've got something else in your mind that you might be thinking about, like maybe it's a story, maybe it's an idea for something. Work on that. In those other days that you have with that other time, work on it. And the thing what happens there is, when you commit to those things and you start working and you keep working, you have this snowball effect. And this is what you call momentum. You start feeling probably better. I know I do. Opportunities will start to present themselves in ways that you never could imagine. And that's because you've gained a sense of momentum. It's really important. Keep working. I think the important point to stress here is that this isn't just about, commercial projects and things that gives you a perception of what you think is going to be worthwhile. This also has to do with your personal projects. Anything you have in your mind, write it down. Work. Commit, schedule the time, and then work on the actual project and finish it. That will build a sense of momentum that you won't even realize. Before you know it, you're like a few projects in, and then other opportunities have presented themselves. I think that's the most important point, is that other opportunities present themselves when you learn how to partake in this sense of creative momentum. So keep the treadmill running. Once you get on, you're committing to the treadmill and you start running. You see a certain amount of time you want to run, keep running. Take that time, commit to it. By commit, you put in the time you want to actually run for. For me, it's not much. You'll build a sense of creative momentum. So there you have it. 3 tips for your consideration in order to get you unstuck in your creative journey. How about you tell me how you built your momentum? I hope these tips help. So the next time you're stuck, consider them. And say goodbye to our little friend who helped illustrate. Wilson? This ain't Wilson. This is Rick.